Well, today is December 25th of 2024. Merry Christmas to all of you. And I wanted to make this video because I think I made a mistake in not doing this the very first time. So I'm going to give you a Christmas gift the best I can of telling you why I named this channel Becoming a Millionaire. And one of the reasons that I'm doing this is because I want you to be able to understand what it's like to not have money when you retire, and you don't want to be in that bind of relying on Social Security, which there'll probably be more changes. The United States is at least $30 trillion in debt, and I don't know see it getting any better. And they'll probably do cuts on Social Security, and I don't want you to rely on that as your only income, and you should not. So one of the things I'm going to say to you is that there are jobs out there that can help you get there. I described that in my last video, and I hope you go back and watch some of these videos on some of the ideas that you can do to benefit yourself. And you don't even know what jobs are out there that you could do to be making a lot of money. And so one of the last ones I talked about was finding the job that pays maybe starts at 65,000, and there's all kinds of jobs. I think sales is going to suit a lot of people. There was one person that I had working with me, a coworker, and she understood everything about our contracts, our agreements, what was needed physically, and how it would be set up and presented, but she couldn't get the contract over to the person. She was more analytical, and she just couldn't personalize it. And so our bosses will tell you, if you don't like this job, then go find another, because you may not like this job and you may be better at another job. And she did. And my understanding is she started working for Nike, and she started designing shoes and colors and schemes, and she did the analytics of what works and what didn't, and she was just terribly happy. But it wasn't this job. But any job that you get, is that I want you to sincerely become a millionaire in that job. And it may seem impossible. And one of the things that happens to us is that you'll get a job and you'll be in that job. And of course, if you're married and have children, or just being married, or being, to me, the hardest job in the world is a single working mom. And when are you going to find time to do it? And what are you going to do? And how can I do it? And I've described different jobs that can do it, and I'll make more videos on this. But there's a flexible spending account, and you can designate thousands of dollars to be taken out before taxes, and then to pay your babysitting cost or your daycare cost, things like that. Now that one, you have to be sure that you're going to use all the money. So if you designate, let's say $500 a month, which is $6,000 a year, and you only use 5,000 of it, you're going to lose that $1,000. It's just going to be gone. Then when you get up older, I think I was 50 when I got the HSA, the health savings account, and my company I would throw in $50, they would throw in $50, and when I retired with it, it was mine. It's yours forever. It's like a savings account. Now you have to have a bill, like insurance premiums, and send it in to get your money back. And I made some changes on insurance. I went on Medicare, and my wife was still on insurance, and it was costing a lot. We switched over to a different group, which I'll tell you about later. Pardon me. And so they didn't recognize that group. It was more of a co-op than an insurance company. So it was harder to deal with and send in the forms and get your money back. And I eventually ran out of that. And today I would sit back and I would go, I mean, it was a hassle. You had to send it in, and sometimes they didn't get it and you had to call them. But I would gladly take another $100,000 of a health savings account for the rest of my life, because it was taken out before taxes, and use it for medical things or over the counter. So I highly suggest any program that you get or can get a hold of, which began this whole thing, the Roth IRA, the 401k, or any kind of savings that you can do for retirement that you do, because I sincerely want everybody to be able to step out of their job and become a millionaire. And so my title is Becoming a Millionaire. I want you to be a millionaire. And I'm not talking about people like Bill Gates, who owns Microsoft, or any of the people like that who are with billions, or maybe I know there's a family in Saudi Arabia worth $1 trillion. It may be Saudi Arabia, but it's not that. It's just that you want to have this backup for things that you want to do. And even having this kind of money, say you have $1 million, and it's you still have to budget. You have to be careful. Our Christmas today was my wife and myself only. I bought a turkey, I cooked it, bought a box of stuffing, and then we had a pie, and I buy frozen rolls and let them set, and then we cook those. So we don't really go out and spend a lot of money. Now on our anniversary, we went out and had a nice time, and when we got done, it was quite a bit of money, and we thought next year we could do something else for maybe half the price. But you need to do something once in a while. But I just want you to look for jobs. Don't get stuck coming home, being tired, doing laundry, cooking, and putting the kids to bed. Then you want to sit home and watch TV. Take 30 minutes to look for a job and send out resumes. Send out a lot of them, and try to understand that if you're a couple that's working or a single person, you can still look and do well. Now, one of the things that you might have to do is move, and like one of the first things I asked people for my company was, like the company kind of asked, "Are you willing to move?" And I mean, I'm not talking about out of state, and I would say stay out of California or New York, and maybe in the Midwest and the Central, or maybe on the East Coast. I know there's hurricanes and stuff like that, but I would stay out of the Northeast and go to the East or the southern part, or in the West, like I said, stay out of California, maybe even Oregon and Washington, because they're rough states, and they're planning on adding wealth tax, which you don't have to worry about, but it's just some states that are having troubles. But the thing that you really want to do is to not stop looking. Send out your resume. They use the word networking. Ask people if they like their job. See what they do. Ask them the pluses, the minuses, and do things like that. So I'm going to tell you a funny story that is true, and you need to remember things like this, that what makes a difference. So first off, I guess I'll give you two. First off, a guy applied for a job to a manager that I knew, and he came in like leather pants and a leather shirt and a leather tie, and slouched down in the chair. And I knew his girlfriend, and she couldn't figure out why he didn't get the job. So I asked the manager, and he goes, "Yeah, that's the way he acted. He acted like he couldn't care less." But here's the biggest one I'll give you. 25 people were invited for a position, an office, like a vice presidency at a carpet manufacturing facility. And so the owner flew in all 25 people, had them stay that night. They flew in that day, had them stay that night at a hotel, and then they came in the next day, took a tour of the plant, they had lunch, and then they were sent home. So you think about the expense of flying 25 people in, putting them in a hotel, and paying for their dinner that night and their breakfast, and then having them for lunch at a meeting and touring them around. And you think about, how can I distinguish myself to this person to get the job? Well, a couple of the things I would do is listen first, and then ask questions later. And then if he has any options, of saying, maybe I could, what would you suggest? And say, I think I would look at this about maybe having a better manufacturing system, like doing something. At least you're inputting, not insulting. And so one of the things that happened is I think there was one woman out of the 25, and she had it in her purse. And on the way to the airport, or at the airport, she stopped and mailed a thank you card to the owner who had brought him there. And so the next day, he got the thank you card from her and called her up and said, "The job's yours." And she was ecstatic and wonderful. And she got there and took the job. And he came in her office one day and said, and he goes, "Do you know why I chose you?" And she goes, well, I'm hoping it's because of my ability. He goes, oh, it was that. It was that. You were in the running with about 5 of them for the job, but you're the only one that sent me a card and said, thank you. I really appreciate everything. She had it pre written, pre addressed, stamped, and ready to go in her purse. She was going to send it no matter what. And if you think about things like that, and like you're talking to maybe I'm old school, and sending a card through the US mail, it sounds old school. That's true. But if you look at it, that if you send a text or you send an email, those are all day long. It's that. But the card took time to go by and to sign and write a thank you, put it in an envelope and stamp it and mail it. That took time and a little extra effort on your part to do that. And the owner really appreciated that. And I still believe that the personal touch makes a difference. So, again, Merry Christmas from Becoming a Millionaire. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, make a comment, and above all, as always, tell someone about this video or all my videos and try to become a millionaire when you retire. Thank you so much. I appreciate you watching.